Hi, folks. Maynard Warren, and this video is about your homework. The homework is 45 minutes into your session number 3. Have a call scheduled with one of your best clients, and it's going to be entitled A Client Satisfaction Conversation. So, why is it important to have client satisfaction conversations? Because it is a gold mine for you and the rest of your sales team. To a certain extent, it's being ignored. Most sales teams do ignore this, not just with AT&T, but virtually with every other company that I work with. They ignore the gold mine of going back to your client base and asking for referred leads, whether those referred leads are internal or external. Let's look at the numbers. Most salespeople are focusing on the 5% box, which is cold calling. And they're trying to demystify the cold calling aspect of their job. And they're trying to change that 5% success rate to 6% or 7%. Cold calling is what it is. You may have to do some of that. I totally get that. But what I want us to focus on are the right-hand two boxes, the 45% success rate, the 85% success rate. Hello, sign me up for that. Please sign me up for that. 45%, that's when you go to a client and ask them for the names of others that you should be calling on. And then you ask to use their name when you actually make those calls on those others. Typically, that's basically a 50% success rate. It's 45 specifically, but about half the time you'll get appointments. Yeah, I'll take that over the 5%. Thank you. But really, where I want you to focus is the 85% success rate. That's when you go back to a client and they give you names of others that you can call on. And then you ask one question. It's a little bit assertive, and that's why most salespeople don't do it, is you ask that client of yours, once they give you a name or names, you ask them if they would be able to introduce you to that person. That right there is a game changer. You go from 45% to 85%. You almost double your success rate when you're introduced. So the rest of this presentation is about specifically how do you do those things? The conversation that I'd like for you to have, folks, it's called the client satisfaction conversation. It's got 5 steps. First, you conduct an introduction. Then you ask questions about the before picture. Then you go through the after picture. Step number 4, you attempt to uncover any current new sales opportunities. And number 5, you ask for referrals or a referral appointment, which we'll talk about because that's a big deal. So here's what I want you to do is between now and session 3 is to go through these steps, and we've got example script templates that we've developed, but you don't want to communicate the way that we communicate. So what I'd like for you to do is to go through each of these steps and write in or type in what words do you sense that you will be saying to your clients when you have your client satisfaction conversation. So let's start with the introduction. And it sounds a little bit like this. I'm reaching out to my best clients to determine the value that they've seen since partnering with us. Would you mind if I ask you a few questions about your experience since being a client with AT&T? Okay, sounds simple. Please go ahead. Feel free to change these words. We're going to spend some time allowing you to role play in session 3. So if you like our words, that's great, but please feel free to change these. Then we get to the before picture. The before picture is all about before AT&T, what kind of problems or challenges were they having that prompted them to look at AT&T as a potential resource or provider or problem solver in the first place. So here are the questions. Thinking back to before we did business, what was your motivation for working with AT&T? What kind of issues and challenges were you having with your previous provider? How are those issues and challenges impacting your organization? Is there anything I can do differently or better to create a more positive experience for you? Those are some great questions. You pick and choose which ones you would feel comfortable with, but also starting right here in the before picture. And also you've got an opportunity to get this in the after picture is we want you drilling down to get ROI. Don't leave the before picture or the after picture. Don't leave those two steps without getting ROI. So anytime your client gives you a response of something important that they're seeing as a result of partnering with AT&T and with you, you say either that's interesting, tell me more about that, or what are the implications of that for your business? Here's where we're wanting to go, folks, is you want to get a number or a percentage figure from this person that you're in conversation with, a number of how you're a percentage of how you're saving them something or how they're now able to achieve something, and let them give you a percentage figure, or let them give you a dollar figure on how much one of your solutions is saving them now or how much it's making them now. So very important. Don't leave these two steps without getting ROI. ROI will become a key linchpin in your outreach scripts, your talk track scripts. When you're cold calling, you're going to get a lot more appointments when you're able to talk in terms of ROI. So please focus on that. Just remember these two questions, that anytime they volunteer some information, because you've asked them a good question about why did they consider using AT&T in the first place. Whatever they say is their first answer, it's going to be high level. You want to go down a couple of levels, meaning you want to go down a couple of levels so that they can start to get to that ROI. So please feel comfortable asking either of these questions. That's interesting, Mr. Customer. Could you tell me more about that? That's when you start getting to the ROI. Or you say, what are the implications of that for your business? Now you're going down the path of getting ROI. Please remember those questions and use those questions. It's imperative. Steps 2 and 3, the before picture and the after picture, is where you actually get your ROI, and that's a big time deal. Step 3, the after picture. Since they've been a client, what are the benefits that they're seeing? You see the questions that we've got here. Then we go down to step 4, and this is where we're going to pick around for is there a current sales opportunity with this client? I'm glad to hear that you value our relationship as much as I do. We also appreciate you as a client. I wanted to ask you, has anything changed with your perception of your current needs that we should be discussing this morning or this afternoon during this conversation? Ask your version of that question, and you're trying to pick around to see if there's a current sales opportunity. And then we go to step 5, and here's step 5, and step 5 is all about getting the referrals. This is the pot of gold at the end of the sales rainbow, so to speak. And you've got two choices. You can either ask for referrals at the end of the conversation that you're having, or you can ask for a referral appointment. I'll explain that in just a moment, but the referral appointment is a big time deal. As we go through this, as you read through this, external referrals, that's when you're asking your client for the names of other folks, other cities, other counties, other healthcare facilities, things of that nature. That's called an external referral. We've got a number of different versions here. And just the first one, what other healthcare facilities do you know that might have similar challenges, et cetera, et cetera? What other cities, what other counties? That would be going for an external referral. And you can read through the scripting that we've got. And then we've got option 2. This is the referral appointment option. And it would sound something like this. I'm going to add to this a little bit. Mr. Smith, thank you so much for the time. I know I said it would only be a few minutes of your time today, and I don't want to overextend my welcome here. So I'm wondering, can we schedule a short meeting later this week or maybe early next week where we just spend a few minutes on the phone and go through your network of folks within your company that perhaps I should be having conversations with? Or you say this, where we go through your network of other folks and other municipalities, other entities, other organizations, whatever is the right phraseology here, folks, that are that you know of that perhaps I should be calling on. Here's my point, everyone, is when you go for a referral appointment, you typically get between 5 and 6 names because the only agenda item for that meeting is for them to give you names. They know that. They will give you names. The average is between 5 to 6 names that they will give you. And then the question becomes, well, excuse me, let's look at option 3. This is for those of you that have a, a large phobia or aversion to asking for referrals. This allows you to kind of dip your toe in the water, this option 3. Option 3, and I would say it like this. I spoke with my manager the other day, and we were talking about asking our clients for referrals. I've always been uncomfortable asking for referrals. So, Mr. Smith, what would go through your mind if a salesperson asked you for the names of others that they could call on, basically asking you for referrals? So that's a way that you can dip your toe in the water and ask for referrals, is just to see what their opinion is. And then if Mr. Smith says, well, if the person's shown me value, then I'd gladly give them referrals. Well, Mr. Smith, do you feel that I've shown you value? Oh, yeah. Yeah, Maynard, you've been great. Well, if I were going to make a carbon copy of you, Mr. Smith, who are 3 people that you can think of that I would need to meet? See, that's how that all works together in option 3. And then we've got, and this is going to be really popular for a lot of you, this option 4. And this is where you're trying to go wider and deeper in current accounts that you've got. So we've got the wording here, and then we've got some spots where you can go ahead and write in your specific scripts. But this is so underutilized, folks. I'm going to say the name of the bad guys. When we did this work for Verizon, what I'm talking about in this video was the game changer for Verizon. They ended up almost doubling their sales after going through this training. They went through all their people took the assessment like all of you did. We spent time reviewing their assessments and helping them understand their emotional feelings and thoughts around prospecting. But this was the thing that made the difference with the Verizon folks. They began reaching out to their clients, and their clients were more than willing to help them. This, in my opinion, is the game changer for you as well. So we'll see. Your homework is to schedule one of these client satisfaction conversations 45 minutes into whatever your session 3 starting time is. We'll let you role play during the beginning of the session so you can iron out all the kinks, and then you're going to be good to go, and it's going to be fantastic. Thank you, everyone, for watching this video, and can't wait to see you put this into action. Thank you.